Hello, I just wanted to talk about VV Ultimatum for a bit. This is a new game that just came out recently, and I've seen some people showcasing it before it was released. Based on what I've seen so far from a few videos, it does seem interesting to play, so I wanted to check it out. Also, I'm pretty sure this game is based on Bleach. I've heard of it before, but I have never watched it, so there will be stuff I probably don't know about. Anyway, that's that, and the format of this, I will begin with introducing you to the game and its system, then I will give what I think personally about the game. When you start the game, like usual, it sends you to the tutorial to teach you about the general mechanic of this game. So stuff like light attack, heavy attack, dodge, block, parry, and special counter for attack with a kanji, and Shumpo, which is just the faster dodge that rely on its own stamina system. They also mentioned about AoE special attack was the only explanation being you need to dodge it. After this you will encounter a few enemies. Anyway, it will show you what hollows are. The best way I can explain it is that there are creatures with masks attached to them. There are a lot of variants of them, like centipede, lizard, scorpion. Generally, most of them are pretty bulky, with the larger one being more tanky and stronger but slower. Most of them seem to faint a lot with smaller hollow like lizards and centipede. They attack very fast, so you need to watch out for them. After the hollow is the tutorial boss. The boss itself is pretty strong, requiring you to use everything you learn from the tutorial. This includes the AoE special attacks. As far as I know, this boss is not mandatory and can be challenged an infinite amount of times as long as you don't give up in the tutorial. If you manage to defeat him, you will get a title and a legendary material that I have no idea how to use, so it is. Unfortunately for me, I have to give up since before recording I have already tried it for 2 hours straight. I'm sure that if you are used to fighting games you should do fine, but I wanted to at least try playing the game. Regardless, after the boss you are required to pick a faction to join, which are Quincy, Shinigami, and Hollow. The selection screen does tell you what is unique for each faction, though I'm sure if you have seen Bleach before you will know about what these factions do and what their special ability are. For me, what stand out the most is the Hollow faction. I didn't know it was possible to play as a monster looking thing. I know that it says early game is harder than other race, but I have to see what Hollow do. I also forgot to mention, if you didn't read the selection screen carefully, the faction you choose is permanent on a slot and can't be changed later, so choose one you really want. From now on, it will only be about my gameplay experience as Hollow. If you want to know more about other factions, I'm sure there are other people out there that are willing to guide you through them. In the character customization menu, you can choose a variety of things for your Hollow. The first option is Clan. This is essentially a last name for your character that also comes with minor buff for it. To change your clan, you need clan rerolls, which you can get from using clan token or buying them with Robux. I'm not really sure where you get clan token, but I know you can occasionally get them from daily login. There is a rarity system for the clan, but how useful it is depends on you. The second option is Hollow type. You can choose from 4 different ones, which are Lizard, Centipede, Gorilla, and Turtle. Each of them have different stats, so I'm going to summarize. Lizards are fast with lower defense. Centipede is very fast with low attack and defense. Gorilla is just average. And Turtle is large and slow with high defense. The third option is Hollow Mask. Pretty self-explanatory, it just changed the design of the mask. The fourth option is Innate Stats. This allows you to choose a stat to buff the growth and scaling, but also require you to nerf a stats for the growth and scaling. This one is completely optional, so if you don't want to, you don't have to. The last option is Raiatsu color. This is purely cosmetic, though it also requires reroll. I'm not sure how you get these, but you can buy them with Robux. I'm not sure how to explain it, but after you evolve as a hollow, you will get a beam skill called Sero. It changes the color of that, and when people use this spirit sense, they can see the color of your Raichu. And that's all the option for the customization. Also, the only two things that can be changed anytime is clan and Raichu color. So be sure to pick the option you want. Otherwise, you need to pay Robux to change. After completing the character customization, the fairy will introduce you to an information guide in the top corner of your screen. Although it's not very helpful, but it does give you a general idea of what some of the things do. One of the pages is the information about Hollow evolution and give you a quick rundown of how Hollow evolved. Based on the guide, Hollow evolved just by leveling up or completing evolution quests given when you evolve. Aside from the base Hollow, you can also pull off your mask anytime to become a humanoid Hollow called a Rankar. For me, I recommend going into the setting, either turn on manual evolution or change the race progression button, or just unbind it to avoid accidentally pressing it, because I'm pretty sure once you become a Rankar, you can't change back. Depending on which stage of evolution you are at as a Hollow, when you become a Rankar, you may receive an extra trait and benefit. Also, I want to point out, as a base Hollow, you cannot use Shumpo or special counter, and you will not be able to equip any gears. These will come back as you evolve. Anyway, back to evolution. As a Hollow, when you reach about level 7, you can evolve into something called a Menos Grande. This Hollow is very tall, and interact with anything is essentially impossible, so you can't really talk to NPC. But this stage is very strong with high health and damage, so I don't think you'll have any problem in completing the evolution quest. The quest requires you to defeat 8 Hollows and walk around to destroy 60 objects, like trees and crates. When you finish this, you can evolve into a Ajuchas, which is a furry version of your base Hollow form with red eyes. You can also use Shumpo now as a Ajuchas. One special thing about the Ajuchas is that you can obtain traits from defeating enemy and eating Hollow parts. These traits can give different feature and extra ability to Ajuchas like wings, horn, or tail. These traits can be viewed and removed in the menu by a DNA symbol anytime you want. So I recommend picking up 2 traits first and leaving the third for something you really want, and start deleting what you don't need when you have free. The evolution quest for Ajuchas is to earn 70 progress. As far as I know, you can only get these by defeating enemy, and it's not guaranteed that every enemy will give them, but most of them will. After the quest is completed, you can evolve into a Vastolorde, and the final evolution of a Hollow. As a Vastolorde, you can gain 1 extra trait slot. This means you can have a maximum of 4 traits. You can also use your skill tree and equip gears, though I don't think you can use any weapon besides your fists. The banker will now sell you a bank remote to summon your bank. The bank can be expanded with soul token, which is just the game's money. At this point, this is where you make the decision to either stay as a Vastolorde or become an Arankar. Apparently for Arankar, there is an extra ability similar to what Shinigami and the Quincy can use, but I'm not going to discuss anything here that I don't know about, since I choose to stay as a Vastolorde. The whole point of me choosing the Hollow faction is to be a weird monster thing. I mean, they let you equip gear and use skill tree with Vastolorde, so I think it's fine to play as one. Anyway, that's all I know about Hollow evolution. What I want to talk about next is what you can actually do in this game. At around level 5, you can unlock your homeworld via the portal skill. This brings you to your homeworld and you can use a mission ticket to go on a mission. Mission tickets have a cap of 5 and can be obtained from defeating enemies or earned from daily quests. For a mission, there are 3 things you can do. First is to start a mission. This will take you to another instance to do the mission. The second is to reinforce and help people in mission from your faction. And the last one is to just get a promotion quest. These have level requirement, but once you finish them, you will increase your rank within your faction and get a small stat boost. Missions itself carry a bit of risk. Once you have select the mission and enter the instance, your mission ticket is consumed. There's also a chance that a mission has a modifier give you more XP when completing it, along with extra tasks like don't take damage or don't use skill. These will give you more XP if you complete them. If you have dangerous encounter turned on in the mission screen, you may also have the opportunity to invade or be invaded. At any point, if you or your squad is wiped out, you will have to compensate for the failure with your own XP, and most likely no reward either, meaning it will be in your best interest to make your mission successful. In the overworld, there are also many quests to do. These actually give quite a lot of XP, but basically most of them are fetch quests and kill quests. The gear you obtain can also have a modifier on it that slightly boosts its stats. The modifier can be rerolled out of Taylor in Fort Adams, which is the place where the tutorial took place. The tailor will also offer service to remove modifier or to transfer them to another piece of gear with a whetstone. For the skill tree, is pretty self-explanatory for most part. A few things to keep in mind are build points, skill point, and attribute points. The build point is used to increase the level cap for the 5 stats in the top corner. You will have to level these up yourself, meaning that if you put in 50 points in haste, you will not get any boost until you level it up yourself. Skill points is used in the center part of the tree for different nodes to get or upgrade skills. The attribute point is for the one in the bottom corner. This increases the scaling of skills related to that type, and is most likely required for most skills in order to be unlocked. There are also spirit charms that can be equipped to gain unique buffs. These things are a bit tricky to use, as it is really hard to take off, and equipping over the cost of free will begin to decrease your max HP. The cost of a spirit charm depends on the tier of it. For example, if you equip a tier 3 charm, it will take free cost. So most people don't really equip them unless they are really sure of it. As far as I know, you can only take them off through a shrine in the purple portal that spawns randomly in the overworld. Although it's kinda weird, it seems that you can also use the shrine to remove hollow traits, but I assume that is for Aran cards. Lastly, here are my personal thoughts on VV Ultimatum. I think this is a pretty good game, and I did have fun playing it. It advertises itself as a stylized fighting game, and it does have many abilities to choose from to use. I think this fit well with the RPG elements in the game. Although I'm not really sure on the part that says developing a character uniquely tailored to your playstyle has never been easier. It is rather hard to find a playstyle since resetting your builds can cost up to 999 Robux. This makes it so you either have to commit to a single skill tree or just work with whatever you have, since you can't really experiment with it. There are also some things I think need to be worked on. First is fainting. I'm not really sure if this is intentional, but it seems to me that enemy can feint attacks, but I don't really think the combat tutorial or the keybind setting has anything about it. If you played Deep Woken before, then you should probably know how to do it since it has the same control. Pretty minor, but if you're not careful with it, it still hurts. The AoE attack range box need to be worked on too. If you are too close in the range, you can barely see the range because the red is very light colored. The grab moves are also very wonky and will grab you from far away, especially for the mantis and crocodile. Some enemies are just simply too big or fly up too high. That makes you have to constantly look into the floor with the grass, since you are fighting using shift lock and need to look up to see what they're doing. For hollows, if you reset the skill tree, the roar skill you get from being level 5 hollow will be completely broken and can't be used, even after leaving the game. Also, when you execute a humanoid boss or player, you will heal and a word will pop up. Although there's nothing wrong with the mechanic, the kanji that pop up is mostly referring to being healthy. So it's kind of awkward as it says your character is healthy after executing someone, instead of referring to someone being healed. Personally, I'm not really into PvP, but I think the PvE part of this game is pretty good and for what it has to offer, with many different variants of enemy, all with different movesets, and enemies that don't immediately melt like butter. I also hope that the game can at least explain how death works, since I lose money and item randomly on death. Like, is it a chance based? Does it only happen when a player kills you? Or is it the amount of time you have died? I hope some of these can be looked into and improved. Anyway, that's all I know. I'm sure there are probably still a lot of things I didn't explain or see, but due to the difference of my skill level and the time to level up, my progress is generally a lot slower than most people, though I'm sure eventually more people will discover more about this.